Good day, depending on where you are watching us from. Of course, this is one and only Wawa TV, the fastest growing online TV in all of Africa. We are with yet another very interesting personality visiting our studios, and of course, it is God's holy time on Wawa TV. It remains also Ijikobe, your presenter of this program, and we're going to start right away by, of course, meeting you, knowing you, your names, and a bit of a profile.
Okay, I am Reverend Nkem, Nwokeabia. I am the lead clergy of Petra Worship Center here in Enugu.
Okay, Petra Worship Center, one of the most scintillating worship centers across, if you ask me. And but we want to know, Petra Worship Center, how did you come about the name Petra Worship Center, and how did you start?
Okay, the name Petra means the rock. We got it from Matthew chapter 16, verse 16, when Jesus said, "Upon this rock I will build my church." He asked Simon, who was Peter, "What do you say? Who do you say?" And he said, Simon replied, "You are the Christ." And he said, "Your name shall no longer be Simon, but Petrus. But upon the revelation of Christ, the rock, I will build my church." That's where we got it from. I answered the call of ministry in 1996, April 2nd, precisely. And I took over the authority, that's the leadership of Petra. Then it was Patience of Christ. And it was under my leadership that we now give it the name, Christian the name, Petra Worship Center.
Okay.
And that's it. And also the Enugu coordinator of Global Apostolic Impact Network. I'm also one of the patrons of PFN Enugu's North. Yeah, that's it. And I'm part of also the political wing of PFN Enugu. That's it for now.
Okay, quite a spiritually intimidating profile you have there. Very interesting to know that since 1996 you've been on this call,
Yes.
On the saddle. And we want to also find out, how has it been? You know, what would you say Petra Worship Center has achieved over these years?
By the grace of God, we have been able to raise leaders, because my primary objective is to bring people into the knowledge of Christ, the eyes of understanding being enlightened. When they come into that consciousness of Christ, knowing Christ and being saved, translated from darkness into the light of Christ, we are discipled and mentored into leadership. I'm interested in leadership. We have people in government, we have people in banking world, we have people in sports, we have people in different parastatals, and we have students also. We have musicians as well. So that is the achievement, and by the grace of God, we have been able to extend to other branches around Enugu here and outside. So that is it.
Okay, yes. Bringing it down home, we want to find out, if you take a look at the Igbo nation, the society at large, you will see what people can describe as a twist. Our youth at the moment tend to be going back to the roots, to the culture of the land of this particular part of the world. There is this tendency of the youth, deciding to walk out of the Christendom to begin to go back to the traditional realities of our time. In your calculation, is this profitable? Is it gainful for the Igbo man? Is it a loss for the Igbo nation?
Yes, and no answer. So I will explain. First of all, when we talk about root, I can understand, but I have a divergent view, because our root is also our source, and our root is God. That's it. And Christianity, what you call Christian faith, which I don't believe is a religion, Christianity to me is a revelation in Hebrew language. Our source is God, and God came, the Bible says that God incarnated as a human being here, and that God that incarnated is Christ. In Catholic faith, you hear things like, so that is Jesus Christ. So Jesus Christ is the revelation of God to mankind. What other root can be greater than that? So God is our root, God is our source, and Christ is the nucleus of that root. That is one. Now, our Bible, which I believe teaches us that we were all born in darkness. It says we are translated from darkness into light in Christ. And we are all dead in our trespasses. Even original sin. So anybody that is born into this world, assumably, is dead. Because he's blind, he's not conscious of God. It is the teaching of Christ that opens our eyes. Like in Catholic faith, you have people, you do baptism, even in Anglican communion, and you start teaching them what you call baptism and things like that. What are you trying to do? To bring a child in awareness of that. In our Pentecostal system, we don't do baptism, but we do what you call child dedication, which is equivalent to that. Where you will now bring the child, something like a rite of initiation, in the consciousness of Christ, so that this child will grow in the original root, which is Christ. And that is what the church is. It's unfortunate that the church has become more of an institution and business empires. I understand. That's another teaching for another day. But it does not modify the fact that Jesus Christ is a root. So when somebody now leaves this root, you go back to, it's like you have been living life and you reject life, and you go back to death. I can't say you're going back to death, I say you're lost. That is why I say, I say yes and no. Yes. Now, Jesus was born in a tradition. He was a Jew. I am born, I'm an Igbo man, very proud one. Tradition is our way. Yes, we do. But any tradition that is not in consonant with the teachings of Christ becomes an issue. I will not deny the fact that I'm an Igbo man. I will not deny the fact that we have some good tradition that can also help humanity. But when it comes to denouncing Christ, to accept paganism is a different thing. I do not endorse that. I don't even believe it's beneficial.
Yes, it's a different thing, and he doesn't endorse it in any way. We also want to find out. It seems as if the moment this craze for going back to the roots, unquote, so to say, which you have, of course, dismantled, since it began, it appears a lot of vices have increased. We're talking about kidnap, talking about all sorts of impunity going on. What would be your take on that?
Well, I want to be fair and sincere because we're talking to the audience.
Sure.
Before the advent of Christianity into West Africa, because Christianity has been in Africa, it has been in Egypt, has been in Ethiopia, and that's surrounded, even before the white man. But before it came to the shores of West Africa, we had this tradition, and we are not killing, we are not kidnapping, right? So I will not accept, in as much as I do not endorse going back to the US, to say going back to the root, but I will not say that it is what is increasing these vices. What it does is empowerment gives a revelation to the originality of a person. So that if you give somebody power, you know who he is.
Sure.
So I know that person is already a corrupt person. He's just using that as an alibi to do whatever he wants to do. Because in our African cosmopolitan religion belief, I don't know Sana.
Sure.
If you come against Sana, they are going to kill you. That's what they believe. So the person that said he was going back to his root and is going into ritual killing, he has not really gone back to his root. He's just using it as an excuse to perpetrate evil.
Yes.
I have to be honest and fair.
Okay, it felt good when you said you had the political wing, of the PFN,
yes.
Something
yes.
Like that. So we want to find out. Up north, there has been a lot of outcry. So much so that even the United States of America, as led by Trump at a point in time, decided to categorize Nigeria as a country of particular concern. And what was the reason? The reason was the alleged Christian genocide. What would be your take on this?
We see it in the Plateau State, Benue State. I will not just say the Southeast in particular. Let's look at the North. There is Christian genocide going on in Nigeria. There is a religious cleansing. In as much as I will be honest, there is also killing of Muslims. You can't debunk that because we see we have mosques, we are raided and people are killed. But you cannot compare it to the intentional killing of Christians. Still, the vision of Usman bin Fodio being carried out by these jihadists. Let's be fact. I'm a clergyman, I have to say the truth. There's an intentional killing. So there's a Christian genocide in Nigeria. And that is why we get involved in politics, both in Ghana and PFN, to encourage our people. You can't sit in your power and be discussing and criticizing. Get into the field, change the status quo. We are doing that to encourage Christians to get involved in politics with our Christian ideology, with our Christian consciousness, not going there to be polluted. Contact without contamination. That's what we're trying to do. So you have to speak the truth. There's Christian genocide in Nigeria. We see it every day. Not far from today, a clergyman was ambushed and killed himself, his wife, and his family. We see that every day in the north, in Middle Belt. So there's Christian genocide. And Nigeria actually is a country of a particular concern, as far as politics is concerned. You know that.
Restating the fact that Nigeria is a country of a particular concern. In an interaction with another clergy, we were made to understand that Nigeria was supposed to be classified such 50 years ago. Proceeding, I want to find out. Yes, going to, of course, explore this political angle of the Christendom.
Yes.
I want to find out what will be your take on the state of the Nigerian nation, nationally and, of course, per Enugu State.
To start with, I don't even believe that Nigeria is qualified to be called a nation. We can say it's on paper. What makes Nigeria a nation when a particular leader in Nigeria classified a particular tribe as a bot?
In a circle.
Where he murdered federal character. So what makes us a nation? We're not a nation. A part of people, a class of elites are subjugating the least, the mob in Nigeria, forcing leadership in them, leadership in them. That is not a nation. That's if you ask me. And Nigeria, to the white men who colonize us, we are not a nation. We are still a Nigerian company, as far as they are concerned. Of course, what are we going to Chatham House and turn down the street to do if we're having an election in Nigeria and we guys should get there? Not to tell you, we have to take permission from our gas. So when you talk about nation, Nigeria is not a nation, but we are grappling with what we have. And the leadership will only be for now. To be sincere, I know people have their take on the man, the young man that is the governor of Enugu now. I love the man, I love what he's doing. We know in our heart how he was 8 years ago. I don't want to criticize anybody. But the guy came, we did 3 years, he did what Nigeria could not do. In as much as I want to use this opportunity to ask the government to consider the poor as well. There's this taxation and everything. I know it's only to help, but you can't tax people who are dying in penury, who are grappling to survive. If you're going to do it, you have to raise up a one place. Outside that, the present government of Enugu State is doing marvelously because of infrastructure, road connection, and everything. It may not be perfect, but it's trying. So that is it, and that's why we want people with right mentality, technocrats, people that are positive in mind, to get into politics in Nigeria. Maybe they will change it. Federal-wise, we are still a caricature of federation, of nationality, as far as I'm concerned, federal-wise. Whatever we have in the family is a caricature. I'm the pastor, I have to speak the truth. And if we can do anything by coming here to change this status quo, we have to do it as much as we can, because we can't continue this way.
As a clergy who is in charge of politics, in your terrain, what will be your advice to the populace as far as 2027 and the general election is coming?
Don't vote your pockets. I think I can reach church. Sure. Don't vote your pockets, vote your conscience. Or let a person be made to be happy with tomorrow. And when you vote, protect your vote. I want to use a wrong word, maybe. So to say, die for that vote. We can't sit like this. As you are doing whatever you are doing, you consider the next generation. It's not stop. I'm above 50. I don't think I still have another 50 years to spend in this world. But my children, their children, we consider that. Where our father stopped, my dad is dead, but the same story he told me in the 60s. In fact, I've seen now, and the challenges they have is almost times 2 what we have now. So it's not getting better, it's getting worse. We need to do something about it. We can do that by our vote. That's it.
We need to do something about it. We can do that with our votes. Remember, it is, of course, God's holy time on Wawa TV. Then lastly, we want to find out, what are your words of encouragement, given the state of the nation economically? What will you tell both your congregation and beyond?
First of all, Christ is all that there is. The Lord Jesus Christ transcends more than just a person. When you have the revelation of Christ, you also allow the life of Christ to reflect from your own life, in every sphere of life. For those who claim to be Christians, who are politicians, are you reflecting Christ? For those who are businessmen, are you reflecting Christ? For my colleagues, clergymen, not every picture on the pulpit, are you reflecting Christ? Because my right righteousness to fill Nigeria as the water covers the sea. That's what I tell my people. Going to church is good. The church is not just a place, it's a place like a hospital where you go, you'll be treated mentally and spiritually and psychologically. Then you reflect that in the society. That's what I have to say.
That'll be all. Remember, thank you for watching this very interesting episode of God's Holy Time on Wawa TV. I'm still your one and only AGK Okwe, the anchor. Thank you.